Hello, this is Bruce Maloch, State Senator for District 12, with an update on the coronavirus, the July revenue report, and a visit with Clark County Judge Troy Tucker. Let's look at some of our COVID-19 numbers. As of August 6th, we've had 47,028 cases. We've had an average daily increase of 781. That's up slightly from the last week, but it's about where we've been for the past several weeks. Our active cases are back up, and we've had 73 deaths in the past week. Sadly, that's our worst week so far in terms of deaths. School starts in 2 weeks. We just pray that those numbers will start to come down before then. For some good news, we got the July revenue report this week. July collections were a record for the month, and net revenue was $52 million above forecast. This was a bit surprising because we thought income tax collections would be down. The state income tax deadline for filing was delayed to July the 15th, and we expected that to boost July collections. But many taxpayers went ahead and paid their tax in the earlier months, so we expected income tax collections as a result to be less in July. But they remained strong, as did sales and use tax collections. Some of the spending can certainly be attributed to the federal stimulus money that our citizens received, but at any rate, we're off to a good start for the fiscal year. COVID-19 has affected all of us. This week, I discussed the impact on county government with Clark County Judge Troy Tucker. Well, thank you, Judge Tucker, for joining us today to talk about how the coronavirus has affected some of the counties in the state and specifically how it's affected Clark County. Clark County was one of the early counties in South Arkansas that had a number of cases, and I was really impressed at how you and your office coordinated communication throughout the community. I know we've not had to continue that as frequently as you did in the beginning, but tell us a little bit about what you did from the beginning of the coronavirus and keeping your citizens and other agencies within the county informed.
Well, I think Clark County, just like every other county and city in the state, whenever this first hit, we were all kind of at a loss on what to do and how to approach this whole situation. But early on, I started holding community meetings with community leaders. It was not public meetings, but they were private meetings that I had with various city and county officials, medical staff, our court system, jail staff, and others to see how we were going to navigate through this whole thing. And we held those meetings weekly for the first probably 4 to 6 weeks. And then we started doing that about every other week. And of course, yourself and our state representatives, Congressman Westerman and others have joined in these meetings as well. And it's just been information sharing meetings, basically.
And again, I thought that was very helpful and very good for your community. I know our numbers sort of went down for a while and you didn't have the weekly meetings, but then when we had a spike back up, you would just have them basically as needed. And so I think that's very helpful. Tell us a little bit, since the epidemic started and pandemic started, has the courthouse remained open? What about your offices there? And then I know the court system maybe was a little bit different, but just tell us about some of the activities as far as public offices since the virus started.
Well, Clark County chose early on that we would keep our courthouse open. We've never closed the doors to our courthouse for any reason. We have limited access at times. Currently, anyone that enters the courthouse is screened by a deputy sheriff at the door. Face shields are required, and we also check temperature. We have installed plexiglass in the offices to prevent people from just walking in. We normally stop people at the door, and they can conduct their business through a plexiglass shield. And that's worked very well for us. We've had really no issue with that. I do know that there's certain segment of the community that is opposed to the face mask, and we understand that and we respect that. We simply, if someone comes and just refuses to wear the face shield, we go down to the front door and we conduct business with those people there, and we've had really no issue with that. As far as our circuit and district courts, we have not stopped any court proceedings. They did delay for a short time some of those proceedings, but we are back and really full operation. We do limit the number of people that can come into the courtroom. And again, they are screened at the front door of the entrance, and everyone is required to, of course, have a face shield. I think we've had one interesting thing. We've had one jury trial since this started, and that was conducted on the campus at Ouachita Baptist University. They had a facility there, a building that would accommodate the number of people that we needed to bring in for a jury trial. And they were gracious enough to allow the court system to conduct that over there, and it went very well.
Well, I think you've been a good example for flexibility and adaptability during this time. Let's talk specifically about the operations of the county judge's office. I know it covers a lot of things, but part of your job also is just maintaining the roads and that type of thing throughout the county, and that work really doesn't stop.
Well, it doesn't stop. And, that's the thing with closing the courthouse. There's so many agencies and things that depend upon the courthouse in order for us to be able to conduct business. We just did not feel comfortable doing that. And same thing with our road department. Fortunately, those guys are outside and they have very limited access or contact with each other. So it's really worked pretty well. I will say that in our county, unfortunately, in the employee side of it, we are seeing our numbers increase just a little bit. We do currently have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3 employees, I think, that are positive for COVID. So we are looking at that on a daily basis to see how we need to continue conducting business.
Let me ask you this. A lot of us were concerned at the beginning of the pandemic about what it would do to our finances and to the income, not only, of course, at the state level, but also at the county level. How has this impacted the revenue or the finances of the county?
Well, for us, I don't know about others, but for us, I can say that we have fared this fairly well, actually, financially. Our revenues in the last count that I had was June's revenues, complete accurate count, and we were up about $27,000, I believe, over where we was this same time last year in June. So that's promising. Of course, there was also the stimulus money that hit, about that time. And so we don't know what kind of an impact that had. I'm sure it had a positive impact, but how significant it was, we don't know. But so far, and our finances have been okay. Now, what's going to happen if this thing progresses over the next, 6 months to a year, that's yet to be seen. And we're just being very conservative in our spending. But I think as of right now, we're okay.
And I think that's a good approach. And I think what you're seeing is what a lot of counties have seen, and the state. We just got our July revenue report for the state this week, and it was up. It was up more than expected. I think a lot of people staying home, they're spending money at home. And you mentioned, of course, the stimulus money too has helped. But we'll all just have to wait and see going forward, and certainly hope and pray that this virus subsides and we can get back to some degree of normalcy. Judge, I appreciate your work as county judge there in Clark County. I appreciate all of our county judges around the state, particularly throughout my district, the work that they do. You probably get more calls from constituents about a road issue or a culvert stopped up that I get with some of the issues that we deal with. So I appreciate you and thank you for the job that you do. Thank you for joining us today by a Zoom video that we're doing this week. And for all of the folks out there that are watching, if I can help you in any way, please let me know.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate all that you're doing for us as well.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.